Welcome, everybody, to part two of the NFL Presidential Address for Week 5. On this show, we're going to look at Carolina going into Detroit, Houston against Atlanta, and Cincinnati playing against the Arizona Cardinals. Make sure to check out part 1. There you will find the Thursday night football game, Jacksonville versus Buffalo, and the New Orleans Saints going in to Foxborough. Let's get straight into it. Carolina +9 against the Detroit Lions. The total here is 45. I wanted this line to be 6.5. Okay, I mean, if I'm going to wish for dreams, I want this line to be a pick 'em. If it was 6.5, I'd be playing a 5% play on Detroit. I love this Detroit team. Full disclosure, I don't have a team that I root for in the NFL. I'm a professional bettor. But if I did, it would be this team. I love their coach. I love Jared Goff. I think he's the most underrated quarterback in the league and maybe in history. They have weapons everywhere, and their defense way better than people think. At -6.5, like I said, this would have been a 5%. I can't load up on this play now, but I am still going to bet on Detroit. If you spotted Carolina a touchdown, they still couldn't score 20 points. With Young at QB, this team has put up 10 against Atlanta, 10, 17 against New Orleans, and 13 against Minnesota, who I think leaves their defense behind most of the time. Now, 2 of those defenses are good. I get it. New Orleans might be great. Minnesota, they're a total shit show. And they only got 13 points on them. Carolina ran for 83 yards against Minnesota. That would be great if it was on one attempt. 31 attempts. That is disgusting. And Young, he put up 149 yards in the air. If you can't get more than 13 points against Minnesota at home, how many can you realistically put up against Detroit? Let's be real generous. Super nice, shall we? Let's give them 17 points. As for the Panthers defense, bottom 10 in the league. They allowed Minnesota to score 21. That's not terrible. They allowed Seattle to put up 37. That is terrible. New Orleans, who couldn't score if you bought them a whole brothel, put up 20. And Atlanta, if you bought 5 brothels, couldn't score. And they put up 24 points. This Carolina offense is a disaster, and their defense is even worse. Although I'm not going to pound the Lions here, as I said, I'm taking them. Carolina is a mess. Detroit is on fire and also coming off a long week, as their last game was last Thursday. The bottom line here is Carolina is in the bottom 10 of the league in everything. Detroit is a team on the rise. They are in the top 10 in just about every single category, and their defense is literally number 1 in stopping the run in the entire league and number 4 in yards allowed. I also think the Detroit offense hasn't even gotten going yet. This is a team ready to break out. And the Panthers, well, they might be the perfect opponent. I wouldn't be blown away if this game ended 34-17, maybe even 41-17. Blowout in Detroit. Take the Lions -9. Guys, before we get into the Houston-Atlanta game, I want to make mention last week was amazing. All 3 of my presidential videos, I do them in part 1, part 2, and part 3. I went 9-3 across the board in all my plays. My record to date since the beginning of the year, going down 9 games a week, 10 games a week, 31 wins, 21 losses. That's around 60%. I'm really proud of that. And it's only going to get better. The month of October is my best month in NFL every single year. I have a promo up for you guys, and it's for the month of October. The next 4 weeks of all my NFL plays, every bet that I make, only $99. That's a must not miss promo. Prez 99, Prez 99. So please take advantage of that. It's going to be a monster October. So now we're going to talk Houston. They're going into Atlanta. The line has moved. There's money coming in on Atlanta. It was -1. It is now -2. And the total is 41.5. Let's get into it. CJ has thrown for 303 yards per game with 6 TDs and 0 interceptions. His pass completion rate is 62.2%. As of this very moment, he is one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. Now, I don't want to get carried away. He might be out of football next year, who knows? But 4 games into his career, it's probably one of the best 4-game stretches ever. This team is 4th in the league in passing with a rookie quarterback who has not made a mistake yet. Their defense, okay, they haven't played a lot of offensive juggernauts, but their D has been surprising as well. They're in the top half of the league in everything. I know it is early, but hey, they have an easy schedule, and maybe something exciting is happening in Houston this year. Let's get into the Falcons. Ritter. Oh, Ritter. Talk about out of the league in a year. I don't know if he even makes it that long. He's not playing well, and quite frankly, I don't ever expect him to play well. He just cannot throw the ball downfield. The majority of his passes are checkdowns or 5-yard slot plays. Strangely, he has thrown the ball behind the line of scrimmage almost as many times as he has thrown it in front of the line of scrimmage. If you can't throw the ball more than 10 yards, the linebackers cheat and get close to the line, and then you can't run the ball. And that is literally what is happening in Atlanta. On top of that, and a lot of this has to do with bad coaching, Atlanta has gone 3 and out on their first drive in every single game they've played this year. That is inexcusable coaching. They have all week to design that first drive. The defense haven't made adjustment yet. They still can't get to a 4th down other than punting. It's a badly coached team, bad quarterback, and their defense, well, everyone talks about how good their defense is. Yeah, not so much. Anyway, Ritter is 29th in the league in QBR, 29th, 26 in completion rate. He makes Zach Wilson look good. I have no idea why Heineke isn't starting there. This team is loaded with offensive talent, and they do have good defenders. Their defense isn't playing great, but they have good talent on that side of the ball. I will bottom line this. I'm betting Houston here. This is a team that has won their last 2 games, and one of them was on the road. 37-17 beatdown of the Jags. This is a team that has just faced a vicious pass rush in Pittsburgh, still put up 30 points. This is a team that is feeling great right now, heading in the right direction, getting timely stops on D, and able to run and pass the ball. As for the Falcons, this is a team that really can't do a damn thing. Sure, they have a good to medium defense, but they are not elite. Until they start stretching the field, this Falcons team is going nowhere slowly. Very, very slowly. I would also look to bet the under here, but I am worried about Houston's offense putting up too many points and Houston's D allowing too many points. With that said, we're taking the Texans in this spot. Houston plus the 2 against Atlanta. But wait, there's more. Oh, yeah. Like Gorilla Seal guy. Houston is plus 500 to win the division. They have already beaten the Jags, who are plus 110 to win the division, and they have an incredibly favorable schedule lined up. Go look at Houston's next 3-4 games. Plus 500 to win the division, I think that's worth a sprinkle. Now we'll turn our attention to Cincinnati versus Arizona. Cincinnati right now -3. There's money coming in on Arizona. Last night when I wrote this, they were -3.5. The total in this game has been bet up from 42.5 to 44.5, and that's a substantial move across 43. So the Cards beat Dallas. They kept it close until the fourth quarter against San Fran, and they are home dogs here. Why are they home dogs? Because everybody lives in the past. This is so indicative of the public perception of the Bengals based on what they did the last few years. But that is what we call history. And this Bengals team is a total mess. I have told you guys forever that their O-line is a disaster. They were really bad last year. They are like Chicago pizza bad this year. The Bengals team is struggling everywhere. They can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball. They can't protect Burrows. They can't get out of their own damn way. Why the hell would we bet Cincinnati here? Because they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago? Because they were in the AFC Championship game last year? Because Arizona is supposed to be rebuilding? Those are all suppositions. All of that is nonsense. They have no relevance to where we are in the NFL season right now. Here is what we know. The Bengals are a disaster, and Dobbs and the Cards are playing their asses off. They could easily be 3-1, legit 3-1 team on the year. And they had a big-time statement win against the Cowboys. I want to bet on a team that is feeling good, that is trying hard, that is no pressure on them. I want to bet against a team that the public and bookmakers are overvaluing based on yesterday's news, and a team that is arguing with each other on the sidelines and in the press, and one that has not looked good in one single game this season. I'm not going to overthink it. We're taking Arizona plus the 3. That's it for part 2, everybody. Make sure to use the promo code PREZ99, a full month of all my NFL bets. Stay tuned for part 3, where we will look at Philadelphia and the Rams, the Jets and Denver, and the big one, Dallas, going into San Fran. We'll see you on part 3.